So what I wanted to do is tell you, my name is Margaret Patterson. I'm teaching this Math 80, and this particular course, you can complete the work for math for four math courses. And so I've actually had people that would complete one or two or even three math courses in 1 quarter. It kind of depends on your background and how much, how much you've had in the past. And so it is possible to do that. But the absolute minimum is to complete 1 course because your grade depends on it. And so to complete the course, you can do the topics where you're assigned. You take a mixed review, which is like practice test. And then we set up the final. And the final is done on Zoom. And so it is proctored. So if you take your final early, we'll just set up a time. And I'll just meet you on Zoom and give you the password that you need. And you can take the test. And the good thing about taking the test early is one, there's a possibility of bonus points. And two, if you don't manage to get the right grade to get credit, you can retake that final. And so there's real advantages to being ahead of the curve. And this is why I wanted people to meet with me today so that you could get started. Okay, are there any questions so far? So if you need to speak, there's 2 things you can do. One is there's a place somewhere where you raise your hand. The other thing is just to unmute. And then if you unmute, then you can talk and I can hear you. So we'll just need to get familiar with this. But anyway, my name is Margaret, so you can call me that. You can call me Mrs. Patterson. Dr. Patterson is also appropriate. And in the East, we used to say professor, so that's another one if you can't remember a name. But I've been teaching for Seattle College for about 5 years. I moved from the state of Maine on the other side of the country. And I had taught for one of the campuses of the University of Maine system. And so that's what I've done, my whole career is teach math. So I'm happy to do this, and we just need to make sure everybody gets properly started. So here's what I want to do and make sure this is clear. What we're going to do. Okay, so this is paper. Hopefully you can see it. So there's 4 math courses. And so Math 81, which is the arithmetic, 87, which is beginning algebra, 96 and 98. And so the first job we have is getting you properly placed into one of these 4 courses. So Math 80 is only a temporary course number, and you'll be placed into one of those 4 courses, and then get credit if you finish all the work. So that's what we need to do first. Now there's actually 2 ways you can do it. One way is if you took the placement exam. And so there is definitely a way to dig out your placement test result, and that will tell me which of these 4 courses is correct. And then the other one is if you took one of the math courses, let's say you took 81 already, then it's very obvious that if this is successful, then you need to be placed in this one. Okay. And so courses from the past, that would be the other way for me to make a decision. And so once I decide, I'll send you the codes for Alex. for one of these 4 courses. So don't try to get into Alex on your own because it won't work. You need to get into my course, my 81, my 87, or so on. And so the whole thing about getting past this step is so that you can get started. And I've had students already that have been sending me, you know, their placement exam or their courses. And so at least one of them is already in Alex. And so that's what we want to get you, at least you understand the process so you can get started. Any questions so far? So the Math 80 will become one of these 4 courses. Okay. Once we figure out what's what. Okay. Question?
So we just have to email you our scores.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can just email them. Now I need to see. You need to send a link or something. So there's a way to do that. So what I'm going to do next is go over to. Let me see. I want to go over. Here. So hopefully you can see this. If you can at any time, if it's not clear, then let me know. But WAMAP is used in several of the math courses. I just use it for this course. And so when I record this class and I have to process it, I send it over to YouTube and it comes back. I'll put those here at the top. This is the Zoom link, which obviously you figured out. But the key to getting started, there is a syllabus and a syllabus quiz. And so that's, there's the syllabus, there's the quiz. And so you would link it. But the key thing is getting into the right course. And so that's what we'll need to do, getting into the right Alex course. And so you can send me a message because the key information is just a link with the placement exam results or a link to the transcript that would show me. And so you can go this route, which asks you 7 questions. But the truth of the matter is the important question is the last one. You know, what's the information you have just so that I can figure out where you should begin. Now, if you don't have either one of these, a placement test or a transcript, then we'll place you in Math 81. So you'll get started. And so if that's the case, then let me know right away and I'll send you the codes for 81. Okay. So the other thing that's here is there's a link in this section, step 3, over to Alex. Once you have the codes, there's 2 things in the codes. One is the code if you're going to go ahead and pay for Alex. I think it's around $60 for Alex. It's good for a year. But the other code, the second code, is to delay purchase of Alex access by 2 weeks. And so that code is used when you try to register in Alex. I'm going to click this and take us over and see if that works. Oh, I don't. See if I can log in. There we go. So I kind of want you to see what it looks like. And so this is what I see. These are the 4 courses. As you can see, one person's in already. But before that, you will register for the course. You will have that course code and you can choose to delay purchase of your access for 2 weeks. It's called financial aid code, something like and there you are. And so then you'll just go ahead and proceed. So once you get into Alex, then you take an initial placement test. And this test will be the very first thing you'll do once you're in. It will figure out what you already know. So there's, I think, I don't know, in the neighborhood of 50 questions or so. And so do your best, but if you don't know, just say you don't know and move on. And then Alex will design the course so that they don't spend a lot of time with what you know. They spend the time with what you don't know. And so every course is tailor-made for the person and what they actually understand. Any questions about that? Okay. So I'm going back, see if I can. Okay. So my real question, I think, I'm going to stop share, I think. My real question is, do you have what you need to get started so that you don't just let a week or two go by before you begin? That's what I want to make sure that you know what to do. I'm going to go back to WAMAP. My computer is slow today. I don't know if it's because everybody's trying to get in. I'm going to go to WAMAP. Here we are. So the key, what we have in this 3 steps to get started, let me see if step 2, there's a link for course placement. There's a link here to get your transcript. And so I want you to see that it's there. And so then you can sign in and ask for the link if you need the course. And this is basically what it's looking for. Did you take the Compass placement test? Or do you have a transcript? And so that's, you can upload the picture of what it is so that I can see it and figure out the exact right thing. Is this sort of looking like it might work for you?
If it doesn't work or we can't figure it out, can we just email? Would email be another option?
Yes, go ahead and use the email because it's just as good. And so right here, I want you to see this messages. If you click on this, when you need to get to WAMAP, that's for sure, because here's the, the Zoom link and everything you need. But in messages, it only goes to me. So whatever you need, just tell me and we can work on it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, just do it that way, because I don't want you to, I teach this course regularly, and what happens sometimes is people get to the end, let's say for this quarter, it would be December, and they just don't have enough time to finish.
Okay.
And now they're in trouble. And so this is why I want you to get off to a good start. So for instance, if you take that initial placement test, you could actually know half of the topics. So you're already halfway there. So you just need to push through and get one course completed. And as long as you get one course completed, then we can take the final, you can take the final and you can go to the next course. Or you can say, I've got so many other things going, I'm done. So you could be done early on. Or you just might want to continue on. There's no penalty for continuing and not finishing the second course. You just need to first course. That's what I want to make sure. And I'm able to help people almost any day of the week. And so if you need help, we can go on Zoom and you can have individual tutoring and we can cover a lot of material all at once, explain it to you exactly what you need. So please don't think I'm not going to do it, but I will help you. But don't ask the last day of the course because we're out of time. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's got to be up to you to ask for help.
Because I have two questions.
Yes.
So the first question is, like, in your experience, like, how many hours do you think like we should be dedicating to like to be able to complete the first course, but to also, like, you know, be finishing on time before, like you said, so we don't end up you know, at the last moment, you know, not being able to finish it.
Yeah, I think to be safe, 7 or 8 hours a week. So that's an hour a day. I think most of the time, if you take the placement test and you're a good way through the course already, it won't take that much. But the penalty, if you don't finish, I have to give a grade and it will be below 2.0, which means it's not going to work for you.
Okay.
And so that's what we're trying to avoid. But I would aim at 7 or 8 hours. And then the program in Alex will track your progress. So when we get to a point where you should be 50% done, it will be very clear and there'll be a way to access this. And so, and then at 75%, we also, it should be very clear, you know, if you're not there, you need to put more time.
Yeah.
But the simplest thing to do is just to get it done.
Yeah.
I wanted you to see the calendar. This is also on WAMAP. This is where we are today, right now, this little class. I usually don't do this, but I decided to give it a try. The syllabus quiz and the course placement, we want it done right away, but today or tomorrow would be better. And so here are the Zoom classes. So Saturday is really tutoring. And so what I'd like you to do regardless is to come to these Zoom classes on Saturday. And if you can't make it, send me a message. So this way you can come and everybody will be in a different spot. But if you have trouble, it's like we're in the same room, I can help you straight away. And if it turns out that you're able to work independently, and then maybe we can discuss whether you need to come to Saturday's class. But I want you to get off to a good start because everything depends on that.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm trying to do, is have no failures. Everybody made it one way or the other. And the initial knowledge check is critical so that you can then get started with the topics. I made it for Sunday this coming week, but sooner would be a lot better. So I put in those deadlines, but I definitely, sooner is better for all of this. And so that's what I needed. Notice here, there's a bonus for finishing early. I've set it at November 29th, which is a little bit after Thanksgiving. This adds 0.3 to your grade point. So 3.7 turns into 4.0. This
Okay.
could make a big difference depending on where you are. So this is another advantage of
May I
finishing.
ask a question?
Yes. Mhm.
If you get done with one course but want to do 2 courses, before the November 29th, will you still get the bonus?
You always,
And
the minute you finish the first course on early.
does a bonus, if I get done with 2 courses, you get 2 bonuses, or is it just one for the class?
One.
Okay.
But
Okay.
that's it. And that could make a big difference. And so that there's real incentive to do that. The other thing that you need to be aware of, you finish all your topics and there's some sort of final review. They don't want you to take the test, the final, unless you're really in good shape. And so there's this mixed review, which is 50 questions, and you've got to earn 80%. Now you can take it 5 times if you need to. Some people do actually. Most of the time they take it 2 or 3 times, but you can continue to take it until you get 80%. And some people aren't satisfied because they say, oh, I'd rather have 90%, you know, because this is your practice test. Then you take the final, you have to have at least 75% to get credit. And so if you don't have 75% and there's still time, you could retake it. Now, what I typically do after a person finishes their final, especially when there's plenty of time, we go over it together. And we look for partial credit. And sometimes it makes the difference between not making it and making it. And so there's just so many advantages to just taking care of this early on. And so I'm trying to encourage you to do it. Okay? Any question about this?
Well, the second question that I had was that since we're doing on the computer and it's going to be during like, you know, the finals is on Zoom,
Yeah.
is there like a time?
Yes, the final is 25 questions and they allow an hour and a half.
Okay.
So that's really plenty of time. Then you actually write out your work on paper. So then we can go over it.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking this question is because sadly enough, I have a vision disability. And so like sometimes like reading, like even though I can enlarge it on the computer, the reason is because sometimes like it's like dyslexia where like I will mix the numbers so I always have to like double read to make sure that I'm reading it right.
Okay.
And so that's what that was the reason why I was asking that.
There's on campus, you know, part of Seattle College
Yeah.
is the disability department. And what they can do if you contact them is to get certified that this is indeed an issue for you. Then they typically recommend double time.
Okay. No, yeah, I got in contact with them, so like I just wanted to know about that, and then I mean I can also like make sure that they
And so
contact you.
there's other issues that might you know, allow people to qualify for that, but typically it's double time. Most time people don't need twice as much time.
Yeah.
At least it's there if you need a little extra.
Okay.
And
Thank
so,
you.
but you've got to go through that and then they notify me and then I can change the settings so that you have extra time.
Okay.
Okay, that's true for anybody out there. I think it's part of the syllabus. It's mentioned in the syllabus, the contact information. So anyway, that's what I wanted to make sure you knew. There also in the past has been tutoring through Seattle College, and the dates are old. But they do Zoom tutoring as well. So you might somebody might want to try that out. If for some reason these numbers don't work or the Zoom link doesn't work, then let me know and I'll get an update on that. But this, they've been doing this, you know, remotely like this since the COVID. So there's a couple of options for help, but honestly, I'm totally willing to help you. So just, you know, don't let anything get in your way. Just ask for help. How's that for a plan?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So can anybody, so I'm still on WAMAP, but we don't have to continue this session. I just want to make sure everybody knows how to get help, contact me and get started. Okay. Is there anybody else? Somebody was driving one day. Good Lord. But I do think, yeah, I think I've mentioned enough. And so if that's it, I'm going to stop this. So this is back to us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording.